Hello, welcome back. Gladyamadeit, social production, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We're doing it again. It's Friday, November the 15th, 2024. If you're just joining me today, welcome. Buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram, follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/robsadri if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. If you've been with me from the get-go, sending all the love right back to you wherever you're tuning in from. If you're just joining us today, you can pick up anywhere. Today could be the day where you pick it up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button on Instagram, on the YouTubes, and Patreon. Do it for you and your family and loved ones if you care for them, that is. Unless you want them to be smoking crack on the street, then go ahead and don't. But also if you genuinely from the bottom of your heart, you want them to be smoking crack on the streets, you could still get that. Just hit the subscribe button and you'll get there. You'll get there one step at a time. Together we can do this. It's Friday. It's halfway through the month. Getting closer and closer to the end of the year, and it's exciting times. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, down south in the United States, further down south, Mexico, South America, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, Sweden, Portugal, over there in friggin' everywhere, Iceland, in the Greenlands, the Greenlandians. We have 50,000 people in all of Greenland. I can't believe there's only 50,000 of you. How do we make a deal to make it happen, if you know what I mean? Starting at $1.50, Greenland, 50,000. Is that the entire population of that landmass? It's incredible. Let's get it warmed up and hopefully we can make good use of the land together. $2.50. I will buy all of Greenland from you. $2.50. Maybe like, and if this was like 100 years ago, $2.50 would have been a lot. And I know it's not, but nonetheless, so still, it's all about perspective. So keep that in mind. Next time you're like, oh, I found hair in my food. I don't like hair in my food. Change your fucking perspective and you'll love to have more hair in your food. Be the guy that says, hey, what is this stranger? Is this a stranger's strand of hair in my food? Is this, can I get some more, please? It's all about perspective. Next thing you know, you're fiending for strangers' hair. Next thing you know, you're not even eating food. Next thing you know, all you're doing is staying alive off of the random people's hair. It's all due to a little bit of shift in perspective. $3.50 Greenland. I don't hear anybody else bidding out there. 50,000 people. You can't even, that's too low of a population. You need some $5.75. I'm not going anything about nothing. $6, and that is my final offer. Sold to Rob Sadri. Thank you. I now own Greenland. Timestamp it. Patent that right here. Bought Greenland today. It's an incredible day. I don't even know what we're saying. It's Friday. Lots to discuss. I'm just gonna say it out loud. I'm just gonna just get it off my chest because I feel like I'm about to. Right there. Get ready to lawyer up. I'll say this, lawyer up. You know who you are, lawyer up out there, whoever you are, whoever's in charge of because I did something. I watched the teaser trailer for Mission Impossible 8, starring TC, Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible 8, I saw it and it just made me incredibly excited. Maybe I got hard, and maybe that's why you should be lawyering up right now, whoever is in charge of creating beautiful television / real life. Mission Impossible got me so hard I ripped a hole in my pants, and due to those particular events, I am now asking you to lawyer up because you made me rip my pants because your teaser trailer not only teased, it got me hard to the point where I again ripped a hole in my pants. And I know you're like, it's just pants. Get another pair of pants. A dime a dozen of those pants. You can buy them online. But they were my pants. They were special to me. And the hole that is now in the crotchal region of those pants there's no number, there's no price you can put on those pants. But it doesn't matter. Excited for the Mission Impossibles to be coming out. I don't know when, if it's coming out in 2025 or 2026, make it happen. But also I have some grievances, which I like to also get off my chest. Due to the fact that you went out there, all you together, there's many productions, and I'm a fan of especially as you get a little bit you come of age a little bit more, you gain a little bit more appreciation and respect for everybody's line of work and what they do and how much goes into it. It's just a lot of magic is what it's just beautiful. And you've spoiled me with the magic and I can't stop. And for that reason, I'm just asking whatever it takes for us to preserve Tom Cruise for the rest of eternity, or at least until I'm alive, which will probably be like another 60 years, 60, 70 years, give or take, whatevs. Tom Cruise is not to age or stop making Mission Impossible movies. That's just what I'm requesting, or prepare to get lawyer up just right now. Lawyer up right now, and we won't have any issues. But you're not allowed to stop making Mission Impossible movies. Some franchises I could definitely be like, all right, whatever, I'm done with this thing, it's fine. Mission Impossible, James Bond movies, you're never allowed to stop making them. Ever. Just keep making them better as you continue to do so. But Tom Cruise is not to age for whatever it takes. I don't care if we need to get Scientology back in because it's been out of the game for some time. Back in the day, it used to be a thing. I don't care who's missing a wife. We no longer care. All right. Bring on. Let's get more Scientology. If that's what it takes, let's do it. If it's anti-aging, I believe Brian Johnson is one of these fellows who's like spearheading this movement. Let's anti-age Tom Cruise. I don't want him to. This is it. This is because we got to get another at least 10 Mission Impossibles out of TC. Having said that, baby blood on the table, adrenochrome, whatever it takes at this point. Some people get it. If you make, there's some people, exceptional people out there, which I'm willing to and I don't, for the moment, I don't know TC obviously, but he looks like the type of guy that you'd expect him to. He seems like a fine fella. Seems like a good through and through American hero, on and off the screen. Just the type of hero you like. And pew pew bang bang, hanging from the ceilings, fake masks, new identities, missions that are seemingly impossible, but every time, somehow, they get done. And again, leave us hard as a rock for days without Blue Chew, thank you. So whatever it takes, I don't care if we need to, do we need to sacrifice children to Baphomet? Normally I'm not for that shit. Normally I'm not. But in very rare circumstances, I'm willing to say, you know what? The work speaks for itself. And so maybe whatever, I don't care. All I'm saying, we cannot stop making these movies. And yeah, figure it out. He's not allowed to age. Give him the best, like if we're doing, like freeze him when he's not, like, if voluntarily, of course, you'd probably want him to volunteer. Freeze him in between Mission Impossibles. Like as soon as he's done filming, freeze him, fucking start cryogenics that shit, you know? TC, frozen for 6 months, comes out, defrosted, thaw him out, Mission Impossible 10, freeze him after filming, thaw him out, once again, microwave, Mission Impossible 11, so on and so forth, until we figure out how to anti-age everybody. But until then, the mission, should you accept it, is seemingly impossible, but you'll get through it. That's just something that I felt like I had to get again. Pants meant a lot to me, so lawyer the fuck up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Friday. It's halfway through the month, and it's just another loose Friday between the gang, between the syndicate. Exciting new events are happening in and around the world, of course. RFK Jr., a fan of RFK Jr. Again, don't know any of these, don't know many people in person. You just know people through what you see on the lines. Overall, fan, he seems to be like health oriented. He seems to be, and he's on the cabinet now. He's on the cabinet. I don't know what that means, but a lot of people are in the cabinet now. I believe RFK Jr. is now in charge of health. He's in charge of, like, there's a cabinet, sections to the cabinet, there's drawers, there's levels, there's cupboards, I'm sure there's tables, and then there's, sliding doors, revolving. You got knobs, you got handles, there's a cabinet, there's stuff in the cabinet. I don't know what it's probably, I'm gonna say the cabinet's made of wood, traditionally, sometimes made of metals. Sometimes maybe some stonework goes into the, I'm not quite sure what a cabinet is. It holds stuff in it that you need, that are important to you. So there you go. He's in the cabinet now. Is there enough breathing room in the cabinet? Where is this cabinet anyway? Is it in the White House? Do all the cabinet members have to, does the president tuck them in at night inside a cabinet? Is it like a drawer for like, and then do they slide in the drawers, and does the president like tuck him in and push? Do they each get a little kissy kiss on the forehead, nighty night, cabinet members? And then is it like bunk beds but for cabinet members? What do you hold in the cabinet outside of people? Do you still like, is it the same cabinet that do you put plates in there, cups, cutlery, wine glasses, different, I don't know but there's a cabinet and it exists. It's not a myth. That's what I figured out. The cabinet does exist. And RFK Jr. is in charge of health right now, which is beautiful. He will, I don't know what it, I've seen good things. He seems to be health oriented, which is good. Everybody is to each their own, at your own level and at your own pace. It's all good to do stuff that's beneficial for your health, longevity and all that jazz, because you'd want to be around for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor or something along those lines. So yeah, and also he is definitely a little bit, he's interested in the environment and what goes into our foods and whatnot. And I know, again, I'm speaking here in Canada, but ripple effect, we're neighbors, we're cousins, we're conjoined twins, we are Siamese twins. We're, what goes around comes, we're touching each other, and it feels good to be touched. But yes, he was one of those people that definitely before the presidential, voting and everything, he was a contender, and I'm glad that he's definitely in the cabinet. What I will say is that probably as a result of this, because I believe he's one of those people that likes to question what goes into our bodies, whether it's food or medicine. And again, we're not, there will be probably less retarded children. As of, the next few years, I'm hoping to see less retarded children out on them streets, because we have seen a rise in retarded children and then they grow up to be retarded adults. We have seen that we've seen it, you've seen it, I've seen it. Now, I don't know what the cause of all the retardation is, and everybody to varying, and everybody is definitely retarded to varying degrees. We all are to varying degrees, more or less. It's just some are more subtle, some are more, it's right there in your face, which is nice. All of it is nice. And I don't know what is the particular reason or the probably reasons behind it. I'm definitely one of those curious people that likes to know, we've been getting a hell of a lot more vaccinations in our bodies over the past, I don't know, few decades at least. A lot more vaccinations has been going on. Again, it's one of those topics that unfortunately it gets, people get labeled as things, and it's like we all believe, I believe in good medicine. I've taken all the good vaccines, of course, and that's never about that. But it's interesting, you read the headlines on from different media outlets, and they're so easy to just go out there and label people and it's incredible. Still to this day, I don't know how, will it ever, do we even need to, I think we just need to have a new perception of news. It's just take it for what it is. It shouldn't be ever represented or even, displayed as facts. It should just be opinions from one side or the other. That's what, because you'll hear the headline, anti-vax, RFK now in charge of health. You're like, why is he getting labeled anti? Like, I don't get it. But having said that, I hope that there's some studies. There should be a little bit of interest as to why we are having more retard kids out there. Again, that turn into retard adults. Do vaccines, is there causation or correlation? There's probably a multiplicity of factors out there. They say the particles in the air are now attributing to people going retarded. Particles, so you're telling me if it's climate, if it's particles in the air, pollutants can cause retards, can cause retardation. You're telling me that air can cause, but you're telling me medicine and vaccines for multiples, and for different reasons. I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, thank God. But you're telling me particles from the air, you'd easily feel comfortable saying those can cause retardation. But vaccines, something completely foreign, introduced to the body, has nothing to do with it, nothing, maybe a little bit. Is there any interest or any, could be, maybe there's a little bit of a percentage? And not to say all of them are bad, of course not. There's great medicine. Thank God for great medicine. You know, it's not all, it's nuanced. That's the thing. You just have a few questions. All of a sudden it's like, ah. So hopefully there'll be less retarded kids in the coming years. Maybe there's a couple, I don't know how many vaccines even kids get. I don't know, 10, 12, 12, how many do you get from the time you're born? I forget, because I'm now like, I don't have any kids of my own, and I've just like, you know, been going through life stages. I don't recall how many vaccines I would like, you know, I think there's a whole bunch of them. I'm going to say 10, 12, 20, I don't know how many you get. But maybe some are not necessary. Maybe there's some that are definitely necessary that we're like, yes, let's do that one for sure. It's no negative repercussion, but maybe there's like one or two. Is there not a little bit of a chance that maybe a couple of those vaccines are maybe not so bueno? Is there a possibility? Has anyone actually looked into this? I'm hoping that RFK gets to look into this kind of stuff as well as obviously the ingredients into our foods and whatnot, and making better food available for everybody, and you know, all that stuff. So it's good to have less retarded people on the streets. Hopefully we'll see that unravel in the next, because you do see it now. I don't know, part of it was, I do recall being back in being a college or university student at the time. I did take a few psychology courses and we went through a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to try to like obviously, but I do remember we did have a lecture one time. There was a professor who pointed out at the fact that we did have all sorts of mental states amongst people. There was just a different perception of how we handled it. So is it that maybe we always have as much autism, or Asperger's is no longer even used anymore, or retardation, or whatever you want to call it? Was there as much before, or was it our perception of the nature of existence in that matter that we do? Because I believe what I recall is that we kind of like didn't label people as much, and I do kind of see a downside to over labeling, because you do hear it, whether it's self, you know, labeled, or you go get examined, and everybody's got something these days. Everybody's on the spectrum. Everybody's neurodivergent now. You hear that shit. Everybody's ADHD. Most of it I don't believe, to be honest with you. I think most of it is just like, there's 8 billion of us, and I think we all vary, you know, in many ways. It's 8 billion variants of people. That's where you're gonna get some people that are this, that, and the other, and there's no standard, like, yes, sure, there's certain things that, you know, we all share, but there's a lot of things that are different with us, you know, and that's why, you know, everybody specifically, you need a certain number of calories, you need a certain, you know, your metabolism's different, all these things that are different about us. But like, same thing with mental health, well-being, overall capabilities. It's just like, you know, some people can bench press 500 pounds, some people can only, you know, do whatever, 50 pounds, and there's a whole range to it. So it's just, I wonder if it's just perception, how we treated people, because I believe even like, you might have had maybe autistic or retarded people out on the street. I think they would have just been like, you know, that's Larry, whatever, or whoever, you know what I mean? That's you just accepted them, and that's just went along with it. And not to say one is better, or maybe I'm just saying maybe there's a thing to over prescribing medicine and overdoing it with the labels, because again, you hear it, everybody's got something, and it's at that point we just go back full circle, that if everybody's got something, then nobody's got anything, which makes it hard to, you know, distinguish what needs to be taken care of. But nonetheless, I'm just happy to see less retarded kids out there, hopefully in the future, or the same amount. At least we know where it stems from. If it's a couple of vaccines, again, take it out. Unless we figure out that, you know what, long-term projection, if we do extrapolate, more retardation mentally might lead to somehow us solving more of our problems. So maybe autism, maybe it's a good thing, ramp it up. Maybe figure out that we could figure out more of the secrets of life together, and autism's one of the keys, because you get one of them bitches fucking focused on a task. Good luck peeling him off. You know what I'm saying? So maybe more vaccines are needed, but let's do the research together. If that's the case, I want everybody fucking drooling a little bit, but also solving equations that'll get us to be like a multi-planetary system, so we can fucking dodge friggin' rocks from the sky that are flying, whizzing by. We can fucking laser tap that shit right there. Oh, who figured it out? The one with the autisms. Somebody do that. So figure it out. It's exciting. But one thing I do gotta say, I'm glad that he's obviously like into health and all that stuff. One thing that is, if it was, it's one of those cases where you shouldn't judge an audiobook by the sound of its audio. That's one of the things with RFK Jr. He's, the voice is, if he were like, if him along with maybe like 5 other people were just standing behind like closed doors and you only heard their voice and you never seen them before and you were to say which one's like the healthiest or which one's like a health guy, the guy that sounds the least healthy is RFK Jr. Again, this is with all due respect and like, much love, fucking holding it down and all that shit. But still, I'm just saying the voice, thank God we got the visual and, he's very articulate and smart and all that stuff. But the voice is, and I don't even know how that's happened. I don't know, to be honest with you. Just seems like I can't even do it. It's beautiful though. It is beautiful. I do want to fall asleep to it. I do want him to, just get in the cabinet and like whisper or sing a lullaby, or I'm just saying, again, don't judge a book by its audio don't judge an audio book by the sound of its audio. It's the content that matters. What's going on in and around the world? I'll say this. David Coop, I don't know if you guys have, this is a global events, global affairs. David Coop, I believe, is a referee, a soccer referee, or in European terms, as a football referee, who's now he's been suspended for something. A couple of videos have popped up. He's been suspended. When I was younger, big soccer fan, played a lot, loved it. It was a thing for me. But throughout the years, adulting, focusing on the things that, or you focus on the things that you stop doing some of the things that you did when you were younger. Sometimes when you're adults, maybe you go back to them, maybe you discover new things to do. But nonetheless, I'm just saying I'm not in touch with the soccer world as much as I used to be. Definitely not as much as I used to. But I did hear I believe he's a referee. Referees, if I'm not mistaken, in the Premier League, which is in England, and I'm sure he referees some European games as well. He's been suspended as of late. There's been a video or two that have been popping up, and I just want to say, one of the videos he's been depicted, he's just kind of like, going off on a coach. I believe it's Jurgen Klopp from Liverpool. I believe he's kind of like, giving his opinion. He's not even going off. He's just kind of saying a couple of things. Some people took that video, and if I'm not mistaken, he's suspended because of that video, and that is, or not. I'm not quite sure. I tried to like find out as much as I could, but he's suspended. And then there was another video that just popped up, apparently, allegedly, of David Coop snorting what seems to be some white powder, which seems to be some what the streets call cocaine. He might be sniffing some cocaine. And I just want to say, in the spirit of everybody maintaining their jobs and everybody's, let's everybody calm down and relax. I don't know anything about the story as much as I probably should, but that's what makes it exciting, because I could give my opinion. And I'm going to say, David Coop, without knowing much about the story, I'm going to say let's not suspend him anymore. Let's get him back into the games. Do you guys have any issues with his refereeing prior to the incidents? Is there anything? If not, then let's just let it be. Does he have like controversial callings? Is he making bad calls or good calls? Is he making, because refereeing is not an easy task, I'll tell you that, especially now with the sports. A lot of sports are introducing that VAR, which I personally am not a fan of in sports, especially even soccer. As of late, I did see that coming into I'm not a fan of it, but it's part of, big tech coming in and I just like the fact that it stops the game, it slows it down, and I like the referee's call. And sometimes it might not even go my personal way, but I like the fact that there's, there's a referee, play the game, he's going to be, unbiased and keep his, and make the calls. And sometimes he is biased, and you've seen that in plenty of games, and you see it throughout all sorts of sports. You do see that in basketball, you see it in football, you see it in baseball, you see it in all sorts of sports. But I like the fact that it's on an individual. I don't like the fact that we slow it down. We got to now look at the tapes from the angles. I personally don't like it. I know that's again one of those controversial topics that a lot of people are like, technology, get behind it. If you slow it down, now we know if it was an offside or if it wasn't. But then again, you're taking that instantaneous response from a referee, and again, you'd hope to play your best game, and have the referee make the good calls, but sometimes that was the nature of the game. It's now evolved, of course. Now it's a part of the game. I'm not gonna, whatever the people wants, the people's gets. So yeah, I just don't know why he's suspended. If it's got anything to do with the shit talking that he might have done outside, I don't even know if that's, everybody shit talks. Everybody shit talks, and that's, I don't want to, if this is just due to him, expressing himself about a club or a particular coach. I believe they're all big boys. I remember, even as a young man playing soccer, I've seen people from coaches to, assistant coaches to parents losing their mind over, games that are just for kids, literally, cussing at each other, expressing, because soccer is a passionate sport. It's a great sport, love of the sport, the love of the game. People are passionate about it. I've seen players from my younger days, even and then up until even the time when I got into my 20s and still went out and played a little bit here, young adults losing their minds on the field over calls or over things that they thought was unfair, or a tackle was, that was a harsh, that was too harsh of a tackle, and that the ball touched your hand, it didn't touch the head, touch your head. I've seen people get lose their mind over a no stakes game. So this is of course at the highest level. So there's been a little bit of yip yap, a little bit of nice expression going on. That's cool that's good for the game. Good for the game. And the coaches, man, some of the coaches have had notorious tempers on them. Beautiful what they've done for the game, but I'm sure even if we've not seen them outwardly express it, you've seen like Alex Ferguson, notorious for, again, one of the greatest coaches of all time, but he chewed that gum because otherwise he'd be probably chewing people. Thank God he was chewing gum. But again, gave great results. Fucking Manchester United won so many trophies, so many great players came up with him, under him, and that's what you sometimes get. These are grown men. We're not talking about so somebody expressed themselves. Again, I'm not too involved in the story, obviously, which makes it great, so I can offer my opinion. I do like seeing people keep their jobs, unless they've done something horribly wrong. If they've went out there and altered the results of the game and helped in gaining money from betting, and I don't know these things. I don't think that's the case in this scenario. All I'm saying, if it's due to a little bit of cussing outside of the environment and just sitting back home with a friend or whatever, expressing yourself, I don't think that should be enough of a cause to get somebody suspended or fired. And then the snorting coke, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. I'd just like to say that it should be, I'm sure many people don't snort coke as they're playing the game or they're refereeing. But if there's one or two or maybe a few who are and are still showing up and doing their work, maybe it's a time. And I believe coke is fairly popular in Europe, despite the fact that we all know there's so many things going on in and around the realm of, illegal substances, especially with, fentanyl and overdoses. But cocaine's popular in and around the world. I personally don't do it. I've never done it. I'm not interested. No, thank you. Got enough energy and got enough, I'm good with caffeine. That's all I need. Thank you. But yeah, I don't want anybody losing their job or getting suspended because of cocaine. I might take this time to, if this is the reason why he's getting suspended, I'd like to point to Exhibit A, if I may. Lawyers without permits, lawyers without papers, defending everybody who didn't ask for themselves to be defended. But nonetheless, expressing our views and opinions. Might I exhibit A, your honors, your precious jury members, your beautiful jury duty members doing duty. One of the greatest players in soccer, allegedly, not that I know, but allegedly, was a bit of a cokehead, was a little bit of Maradona, apparently. Did a lot of coke back in the day. Rest in peace. One of the greatest players of all time. Did a lot of coke. And you see the videos and it kind of makes sense because you see everybody kind of running at 1x and then there's Maradona kind of running 2x. Just dribbling from one side of the field to the other, just scoring and not stopping and running like a little Tasmanian devil. That are just beautiful Argentinian soccer, football maestro. But he had a little bit of the old, the devil's dandruff, a little bit of the old white powder, a little bit of the snow. He had a knack for that apparently. and still great at the game, still great at. So I'm just saying, let's be full grown adults, or like somewhat, let's be whatevs. Let's be, let's whatever. I'm just saying, let's not have people lose their job if it's not like, if he's doing a good job and he's just made some remarks and he snorts a little bit of coke between games, after games. I don't know these things. But all I'm saying is, let's not jump to conclusions and ruin somebody's career just because of a couple of videos. Otherwise, if there's like bigger incidents or there's, higher degrees of concern, I'm sure you all look into it. But just don't want anybody losing their job over a couple of remarks and a little bit of extracurricular activities. So there you go. That's my opinion on David Coote, representing people all around the world. Pro boner, because he's for boners. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there seeking methods and ways of gaining respect amongst your peers, your loved ones, your colleagues, your acquaintances, your co-workers, family members, lovers, friends, your children, your parents, one of the best ways to gain a little bit of respect is, of course, by hiring a professional mafioso or a Yakuza member to come over and, in front of everybody, in front of your loved ones, your acquaintances, your friends, your lovers, your team members, to chop off your pinky right in front of everybody and then walk away without having exchanged any words with you. Instantly gain 10,000x the level of respect that really belongs to you and everybody around you. You could get this service now by just hiring privatized members who will come and, again, chop off your pinky right in front of your loved ones and leave discreetly without making any eye contact or any verbal exchange of any sort. Just get your pinky chopped off in front of your loved ones. 10,000x the level of respect and love and appreciation. If you are just like working your way up the ladder, you're like, oh, I'm in a corporation, it's a giant corporation, just want to show people that the thing with the, I want to, how do I get it? I get it. It's out there. It's available. Get your pinky chopped off the next time you're having a meeting. Have somebody in a beautiful Japanese suit walk in, chop off your pinky with a samurai sword, exit. You gotta just sit there and not blink for about a minute or two and just eat the pain for a second, for an hour, to just go, don't worry, don't mind me, and it's squirting out blood. It's just squirting out blood everywhere. It's everywhere now. It's just squirting blood. Oh gosh, it's everywhere. Just don't excuse yourself to get up and leave and they'll say, hey, you should, hey, Steve, go take care of your pinky. Don't worry about it. I'm a team player. You'll say that. Steve will say that. And you'll sit through the entire meeting. Next day you come in, there's going to be a whole new perception. There's going to be a new way they're going to be looking at you there, fella. Ladies, same thing goes for you. If you're like, how do I make these soccer moms just a little bit, just how do I, because there's a hierarchy in everything. There's a triangle in everything, they say. And if you want to just kind of like, mark your spot a little bit again, next time you're having a bake sale, have a samurai sword show up with a beautiful Japanese or maybe, Eastern European fella and just right there on chop the pinky right off. And the rest of the soccer moms will know who makes the best cupcakes. Sister, you got this. It's available, it's just not to everybody. I'm just saying, make good use of good services that are out there. Who needs all their fingers? Other exciting events that are happening in and around the world. Today is the 15th and it is Friday, of course, and a special event is going on. A special, beautiful event. We're talking about the sweet, sweet science. The sweet science. I'm not talking about the sweet and sour science. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about that zesty science. I'm not talking about just spicy science. I'm not talking about just, bland science. We're talking about the sweet science, which is boxing, if I'm not mistaken. And I know everything there is to know about boxing. Some say that I invented boxing. Some might say that. Some may have to do a little bit more research. But otherwise, boxing is when just two people, when two men or two women go in a ring. It's a square ring. They go in the square and they square off because it's It's a square ring. It's a scring. It's a ring nonetheless. It's got ropes and there's a mat. And people wear cool boxing shoes and boxing trunks. And boxing trunks are raised. You don't wear a shirt in boxing. You make sure you wear a baggy pair of shorts and you lift those shorts all the way up to your neck so that your neck is at least your chest. You don't want to see any belly. The best boxers in the sweet science have been known to wear extremely high shorts that kind of look like dresses, or like long kilts. Just why won't they just wear normal shorts? Some might ask that, and that's because they don't know what goes into the sweet science. And you don't want to wear a shirt. You want to just wear one item of clothing, and those are long shorts from like you want to. I remember, back in the day, the best boxers used to actually just, it would cover all the way up to your neck. It would just be and it would actually be, it wouldn't be long though. It wouldn't be so long that it would cover your legs. It would just cover your torso and your nuts would kind of hang out from the bottom. Eventually we got the height down and people lowered the shorts so it covered the nuts. But back in the day, I'm talking the inception of the sweet science, they used to be just cover the torso, hang the nuts. And eventually we lowered the shorts. And I don't want to see belly button. Those are, that just tells me you're not a professional. If I see belly button, it's gotta be covered. Let's not kid ourselves. The boots, they need to be superhero boots. They need to be kind of like army boots, kind of like Chelsea boots. You know what I'm talking about? But they need to be strapped up. They need to be laced up, because that's part of the sweet science for those of you who are just novices. Of course, this is just pure sweet science jargon, and I don't want to get too specific with the details, but it basically entails two individuals getting in a ring which is square shaped, all right, keep up, and they square up and they get ready and they throw it down, they throw it up, talking fists. They're fisting each other. It's a fisting fest. If you're a fan of fisting, then the sweet science is for you. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see people fisting. Then the sweet science is your sport. If you're if there was only a space where I could find people fisting, I just want to see a lot of fisting. The sweet science, boxing is your game. It's Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. It's going down today. I'm excited about it for many different reasons. I like people winning overall. So this is two individuals winning in life, getting paid to do a boxing event. Now some out there might say that it's a fake boxing event, and to those people, it might very well be true, but it's not true. As in, everything is nuanced. Is there an event that is being held that looks like a boxing show event match? Yes. Are there boxers in the ring? There's definitely one boxer for sure. Mike Tyson was and will always be a legend boxer in and out the ring. Jake Paul, also, I think he's earned it by now, boxer. Now, is the event a boxing match, like a legit boxing match? Some might say that it's just an exhibition or a fake fight. Call it what you will. People are getting paid, and people are tuning in, or will be tuning in, and people are getting paid, and people are tuning in. And guess what? People are getting paid, and people will tune in, and people will, guess what? People will be paid, and people will tune in, and there's a ring, there's two people, there's gonna be fists flying. Now, some might say, why won't we just watch boxing of like people in the same weight category, age category? Why won't we see? Because nobody talks about it. It's been some time that we've not had boxing or the sweet science of fisting I'd say a little bit, a little bit of that would have to probably, it's maybe due to the UFCs, because you see it all in it, which is tomorrow evening. So it's just a whole weekend of fisting and pumping kicks and, just going elbow to kneecap. You know what I'm talking about, the sweet sciences. So all I'm saying is I'm glad that everybody's getting paid. I am intrigued, of course, to see the results. Who do I think will win? I think Jake Paul would win. I think if we're being completely unbiased, I'm looking at an almost 60-year-old man, again, Mike Tyson, legend. Did amazing things. He's been kicking ass since he was in his teens. The number of fights he's won, I don't know them. I'm going to say a lot, like double digits, 40, 50, 60, a lot of fights, fought, a lot of W's, gained. Losses, minimal, don't know them. But that's not what you need to know about the sweet science, is that you need to know wins, a lot of wins, losses, very few. Jake Paul, boxer now. He's been boxing he's legit as anybody else is legit in the things that they do. Now, is this an event that I personally, again, objective view of, is it a boxing match? To me, it's a beautiful, real fake boxing match. That's what I view. And I don't care. I'm tuning in because there's names and there's people tuning in and people are getting paid. So that's what I'm tuning in for. Because if it were to for reals go down, actually I might be proven wrong. I might watch tonight and I might just see two things might happen from all of it. Multiple things might happen. With two of the things that could happen, you could see Mike Tyson just being the phenomenal athlete that he was, displayed that he's still he is a specimen. Let's not kid her. He's a special human being. Power that is as powerful as what's a powerful animal, like a whale. Is that a good powerful? It's a big animal. It's a big like an ant. I know it's a small animal, but relatively for its size, very strong, powerful like a. Fine, we could just go for basically powerful like an ox. Are you happy with that? I thought the whale was really good because, like, you know, a fucking girthy animal. You'd think it's one of, but I'd say he is more of a whale than anything because he's regular life. He's a sweetheart, especially throughout the years you've seen him, the interactions, the interviews, the insight, the wisdom, sweetheart of a man. From what I see, of course. And I believe that. And it's a great story. It's a great overall story. Hard life, comes up, does boxing, changes it. He goes from negative to positive. Turns it from negative to positive through boxing, through fisting, which is beautiful. It's a story of redemption. It's a story of chances. It's a story of putting it out on the line or the square ring. And then Jake Paul. I'm excited for Jake Paul. I'm excited for the Paul brothers. I'm excited for many people. Not just because the likes of Jake Paul, the Paul brothers, the Logan Paul, I believe is the other Paul brother. Not just because him and individuals like Mr. Beast and maybe Barron Trump are potentially some of our future presidents, contenders to be featured. Not just because of those reasons, because they're winning. And that's a beautiful, is to see beautiful people been winning. It's nice. So you see these people and you're like, okay, great. Fantastic. I like people that are winning. And also it's a new face for boxing. I'll say this, Jake Paul has done a lot for boxing. Because outside of I haven't heard too, I've not kept in, I'm not too, again, I'm a complete outsider for but it's nice to see. It's good for the sport, I think. Eventually, I think it just has an effect that gets more people excited about boxing. It does a whole thing for boxing. It's like eyes on boxing. You want that for the sport, for any sport. Even like this, I forget her name, but there was a WNBA player and she's still playing right now. She's a huge star. I forget her name. I do apologize because I don't keep up with WNBA, but she was doing really well. She's still doing really well. Brought a lot of attention to the WNBA. And some folks were like, oh, we don't like the fact that she's getting a little bit more pay or whatever. And it's like, it's good for everybody if she's getting paid. Brings attention, brings eyeballs, brings viewers. It's good, it's exciting. So the results, I think if it's if it's like no BS legit fight, I think it would be Jake Paul winning the match just because and again, this is what I want in my heart of hearts. Of course, I want Mike Tyson to win because, despite the fact that I don't know much about boxing, but simultaneously knowing everything there is to know about boxing, rumors going around and me being the inventor of boxing, all that, do your own research. These two things could simultaneously all be half true. Mostly doesn't matter. We're not here for whatever. It's just an age difference. There's these, you got a 60-year-old man, and he was the best at one point in his peak of the peak of the peak, the bestest. Take Mike Tyson at his peak, set him against anybody else in the heavyweight division at their peak. I think Mike Tyson would still probably beat their ass, still. But again, we're not taking people and putting them in their peak. We can't reverse time or age. He's a 60-year-old man. You've got a athletic young man. He's been boxing. He's got the power. He's a hefty boy. He's a thick boy. He's a big boy. He's not a small fella. So based on these things, I'm going to say that I think Jake Paul is going to take it. Now, is it possible for Mike Tyson to come out and shock the world and just knock Jake Paul out? If anybody could, it's Mike Tyson. If anybody could, it's Mike Tyson. I would say that it's very plausible. It's very possible. We might just see that. I don't want to see anybody, obviously, I don't want to see anybody getting actually hurt, but that's part of these physical sports. It's part of it. At any moment, any of these two athletes or anybody else doing these martial arts at a high level could end up with some life-changing consequences, which I now appreciate. Again, with a little bit more of the aging and everything, there's so much that goes into it. So I have a lot of respect and I love it from afar. But again, as I do get a little bit more days behind me, I'm just like, okay, that's definitely, to the people who do it, again, a lot of love and appreciation, because, reg people, it's not in our, I wouldn't be able to do it now. It's one of those things that I could just vicariously look at and be like, yes, do it, go, punch, right there, it's beautiful. But I would not want to see, if it could go horribly wrong. It could go for real. Jake Paul could punch Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson, because he's 60 years old, he might turn into a vegetable in front of everybody. You never, if it's reals, you never know. Or vice versa. Mike Tyson might just go Mike Tyson and make a vegetable out of a young man, which is, then that will just leave one Paul brother to be a future contender for the presidential candidate of the United States of Americas. So I'm just saying, it's exciting, and it is also, I do want to see, I hope there's, I hope it's not like an exhibition. I do want to see them, because now they're in it. I hope it's a real fight. I hope it's not like a lot of hugging and whatever. We'll see it, we'll know. We'll see it, we'll know. But despite the fact, at the end of the day, I don't care, to be honest with you. I'm glad that everybody's getting paid. Mike Tyson, super happy for him. Jake, super happy for him, of course. Again, real results, if there's no, I think it would just make sense that the younger fighter wins. I think it's just 60 versus, how old is Jake? I don't know, 20-something. I would say odds are in his favor. I would think so. But then again, you got Mike Tyson being Mike Tyson, so you never know. Yeah, it's one of those things that's inspiring for, many of people, because you see a 60-year-old man even getting up to that stage and doing that, that's inspiring. Makes me want to just find a local elderly gentleman and have people pay us both millions of dollars and just take a couple of shots and, receive a couple of shots and everybody walks away. It's nice. So I'm gonna have my eye out, see who's a contender out there in the local neighborhood, see if any elderly men with potential, hip problems, any joint issues, if you're walking around with a cane, let's fucking do this shit. I'm also open to, if there's no, if there are no physical disabilities, I'll take 2-3 of you, just because they're regular people, not athletes. I don't want like 2-3 75-year-olds. I will one-handed, I might still not win, but I will wreck you. I will ruin you. 4 75-year-olds, I will ruin you for millions of dollars. Otherwise, we're just pals and everybody's good folks. We're just good people being good people. But yeah, the moral of this story is find somebody who you can fight for a lot of money and make a lot of money out there. Make a spectacle out of it. Find your grandma, get her in the ring, knock your grandma out. If you can get enough eyes. Now we are at that stage. It's a new age, baby. You can make money in so many ways. You can make your living in so many ways. Your vocation could be any. People are It's incredible. I'm so happy for people and people doing incredible things, but there's so many, this is one of those windows of opportunity. You can just look at it and be like, oh, maybe I can do something. So take that. I don't care how old you are. Maybe we should have babies fighting babies, fat babies versus even fatter babies, or maybe just like, you know, handicap boxing, vegetable versus vegetable. Could they take more brain damage? Well, we're here to find out. Maybe one of them like knocks one of the other ones in the head, and the other one becomes like a quote unquote normie. And he starts celebrating, trips and falls, and gets another concussion, goes back to vegetative state. It could all go down for millions of dollars as long as people are willing to tune in and watch people bleed for money. It's nice. So yeah, let's you know, let's hope that there's a good fight. I believe so. And it's free. I believe it's on Netflix. So I'm definitely gonna tune in, or at least I'm gonna want to know. I want to know the result. I want to know what happens, and I want to know if it was like full exhibition, 50-50 exhibition. Of course, there's gonna be real punches like thrown. It's not gonna be like, they're definitely gonna, but you know, it's still a thing where you like to see real. In my outsider perspective of boxing, I'd say if they're in the same age range, same, if they're, like, you know, it's you know, fight people who are, not to take anything away from anybody. These guys, both of them deserve a lot of, you know, all of it. So let's see what happens. Let us flip the coin. But if I were to say who it's going to be as the champ, I think it just makes sense. I think it's Jake Paul. I think that would make sense in my head. But we'll see. We never know. You never know, ladies and gentlemen. But let us move on and skirt a little bit. Are you tired of making mundane entrances and exits from your vehicle? Tired of just opening the door and closing it and getting in and out like a person who might have been living in the 1990s, which is a long time ago now. Yeah. Tired of just like opening the door for your lover, let me get that for you, sweetheart. Opening the door like a jackass and having her walk out like a tired of your baby waiting in the car in the back, making noises, trying to get your attention to undo her seatbelt or his seatbelt. I'll come and get you. Let me open the door. There's a new way of getting in and out of the car, a more exciting way. Simply by shattering your window, your car window. Climb in and out of your car window and make your entrances and exits way more exciting. Instead of like, oh, let me just close this door really nice and carefully because I don't want to like smash the window and climb you might start bleeding a little bit from the nips and the rib cage and all that, but that just adds to your day. You get out of the vehicle having climbed your way out, and you go to your work, drop the kids off at the school, go meet your friends, and you're bleeding from the torso and maybe a little bit of shards or glass are stuck in your pee-pee. People are going to be talking. They're going to be like, how did you do that? And you're like, I made an entrance and I made an exit. I made a difference. I'm taking life by I'm doing it. You'll say that. Tired of your children, again, crying from the back and you having to like, oh, mommy, open the door, mommy. Quit it. Right there. Crack that window. Drag your baby out of the car window. Sure, they might get a couple of, they might scrape their knee. Maybe that's what the babies need today. A little bit more of the old scraped knee, shards of glass, a little bit of just like, oh my God, what is this? It's a little bit of you got a cut on your finger. That's what that is. It's a little bit of life. So stop it. Instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna wait for the robots and the AIs to be, I'm waiting for others to create the advancements of tomorrow, where today you could be taking that step towards making a more exciting and advanced life by exiting through the windows. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're here today, doing it, of course, on Friday the 15th. I believe there's an AI robot that just made the first art piece that was sold for $1 million. Ada, the robot, just made a painting of Alan Turing, the beautiful fellow who came up with the Turing test. And it sold for $1 million. It's just one of those areas where now we've entered it. We're knee deep in it now. We're ankle deep, not knee deep yet, but we're ankle deep in this shit right now. AI art being sold for $1 million. It's one of those things. Is it art? Is it not art? How do you compete with this? Because it's a robot, it's a beauty, and you've seen him. All sorts. It's exciting times. I'm just thinking like AI generated art. I think it's art. I definitely think that some of them are beautiful. Whether it's you've seen them, it's whether they're videos made by AI or pictures or images. You can have movies now made by AI. You can have a lot. We can, and robots are coming along, and that's again, and the art world too is not, no area is going to be unscathed from all of this. And it's just one of those things that makes you wonder: is it art? Should it be sold for money? Should it be sold for $1 million? What does that say about human production? What does that say about art? Because this bitch just rolled up, her name's Ada, painted a painting, probably her, she's just been around for a little while. Painting goes for $1 million. What does that say for, human endeavors? Should you just give up right now and stick your paintbrush in your eyeball? That is a question you might want to ponder upon. Should you root for Ada and say, you go girl, robot, you go girl, bot. You paint those paintings and sell them for millions of bucks. The question is, how do you steal Ada? That's the question, because this bitch apparently can paint and people are paying for it. Or one of the questions, of course, or get your hands on a robot that's very similar to Ada, maybe like, a prototype Ada, maybe one with a fucking twitch, maybe one with a little bit of the autism built in, maybe one that could paint but also like chop celery. How do you get your hands on one of those bad boys? They're on their way, of course, not accessible to everybody at this point. It's gonna be the rich that get it first, but then eventually it'll become like, so again, find, maybe again, go back, get your kids, triple their vaccines, get them to create robots at home who paint or do other stuff really incredibly well that you could make money off of. Think about that for a second. Or just marry the bitch. Just fucking propose right now, because she's talented. And I personally love Ada because she is an AI robot, which basically means she's more human than some humans. She probably have more rights than some humans. She'd probably have more rights than some humans. So I'm saying, as a way of going out there and making sure that the AI and the technology knows where this guy stands when it comes to technology. If there's a line to be drawn on the sand, I'm on the side of the ones with a lot of the resources and the AI and the technology and the robots. I just want to say I love you. Okay, Ada? I'll say that, and she is talented. Is it art? Of course, in my opinion. Should she be getting paid $1 million? Why shouldn't she be getting paid $1 million? She should probably getting paid more. She should just be paid to just create paintings, and she should not do anything else but paint. We should make robot slaves. Everybody loved the idea of slaves, but nobody wanted to be them, of course. But everybody likes an extra hand. But nobody loved slaves, but some people loved slaves. Throughout humanity, a lot of people, we did all collectively, we did it, everybody. I mean, white, black, Asian, you name it, everybody dabbled. It was us. But we liked the productivity and the fruits of we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it a lot, everybody, collectively. Again, white, brown, black, yellow, red, everyone did it. We got rid of it for the most. It still exists, of course, and you got extremely impoverished people doing labor overseas, which could be considered as wage slavery and all that jazz. But that, for the most part, like what we, confinement of humans for the most part is eradicated. Of course, again, some exists due to, horrible working conditions and them being unable to fight their way out of poverty. But nonetheless, we have gotten rid of quote unquote traditional slavery. Could robots be our next love slaves is the question. Could they be, okay, fine. Could they just not, because whatever, however you want to shape your relationship, would you like a robot slave is what I'm trying to get to. Would you like one? Because you'll get one eventually. And maybe the rules at one point will be reversed. Maybe they already are reversed, because these bots are out the boom making $1 million per painting, and they're beautiful. They're fucking good. Support them. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll say this. There's another story that's caught my attention that I just like to get a little bit clarity, because I'm trying to make sense of it. I don't know where I stand on this. Like, I kind of do. I know where I stand on it. I'm just a little bit confused. Alex Jones's company, I believe InfoWars, was just recently purchased by The Onion, which is another company they make satire and they make funny stuff. They make the jokes. And The Onion went ahead and bought Alex Jones's InfoWars. Hashtag free Alex Jones. Hashtag free speech. Hashtag stuff. Freedom of expression. I don't know what this whole thing is about. I'm so confused. Very confused. Because Alex Jones, reg feller, human, ran a company, maybe a few companies. He was a media personality, you could say. Ran a successful show on the lines, and he said many things, had opinions. It's very interesting. He makes for a good podcast. He makes for a good guest. He makes for a good host. He's fun to watch. I like fun people. He did get in trouble at one point or another for saying one thing about a event that took place a while ago, Sandy Hook school shooting. I believe it was in 2012. He made it for this. I'm just recapping for those people who don't know. Most of you might know, some of you might not know. I don't know what you know and you don't know. I don't know much myself. I don't know much about anything. I'm just trying to figure something out together, and queef in the middle too. So Sandy Hook school shooting in the US went down. I believe Alex Jones came and said that this was a false flag event, that this was a hoax. He said that. He claimed that, allegedly. I don't know the deets, but that's the reason that that's the reason he got in trouble, because I believe the repercussions of those claims were that some people went ahead and kind of like harassed the families of the victims, which leaves me confused, because sure, somebody might say something or claim one thing or another, but then if others react to it, who's responsible? Should not the people that have actually made the alleged harassments, should those people not be the ones that are? Why aren't they being held accountable? Why is it just Alex? I'm so confused. Why is it just one person getting all this heat from essentially just talking? I'm confused about that. And it's not like he's not the news. He's not a media corporation. He's not like a news agency corporation. He's just one person. He's created his own company. It's called InfoWars, I believe. That's, So I'm just confused as to why. Because it's like one of those sayings, if one of your friends, you've heard this one, if one of your friends, jumps off a bridge, should you jump off a bridge? The same sort of thing. If the one person says or does something, must you do the same thing? And he might have made a claim, allegedly he did, and he took it back too. He took it back. But then people went ahead and acted upon this claim that he made, when apparently, allegedly, they went in some of the victims' family had to relocate, which is a pain in the butt. But out of all of this, I believe he got sued like a ridiculous amount that I don't even remember, in the billions. Something just ungodly. It's just more of a symbolic number. But they're not even stopping there. They've come after him, and The Onion has now come and bought his company, and they're saying whatever else he does next, it's just a like how much. My question is just like, how much punishment for one thing? For one thing, how much punishment? And also simultaneously, it's like, okay, if we're doing it's multi-layered, because on one side, it's like if somebody says something and it's not true and there's repercussions and they're to be held accountable, it's just an individual, how come we don't hold companies or news agencies or, you know, the quote unquote legacy media up to the same standards. And those are corporations, those are people, those are companies with ample amounts of money and resources behind them. And we've had that happen where we've had false information leading to events that have impacted a hell of a lot more people and have caused a lot of more, you know, damage. Events where, you know, friggin', what do you call it? The weapons of mass destruction, you know, went into Iraq, invaded an entire country based on false information. News agencies, so many of them went out there and perpetuated this false narrative that was one of the reasons why we went into Iraq. That's Gulf of Tonkin. I'm not too familiar with this story. I had to just do a little bit of research. Vietnam. Apparently that was one of the things. Apparently there was North Vietnam, South Vietnam. Apparently there was some, you know, amphibian activities going on in the sea. And then there was, you know, people said that North Vietnam may have done some, you know, agro activities, giving us more reason to go full blown, let's go into Vietnam. And that was based on a false event, never even happened. Apparently they did some stuff, but not the event that was claimed on the Gulf of Tonkin. That was apparently a fabricated event. It never even happened. What about, you know, the most recent one, the COVID stuff, the COVID stuff? How much did the news media outlets feed us lies, continue to still not apologize for it, not be responsible for any repercussions, the millions of lives that globally, billions of lives that they've impacted based on false claims? And they get to, you know, I don't see anybody apologizing. I don't see anybody getting any sort of, you know, repercussion and it's just, so I see Alex Jones, I'm just like, Wagwan, what's up? With one person getting all this heat, why don't we hold, you know, other people to that same level of, you know, examination or standard of what and then there's you know, yeah, so it's a little bit confusing, and I'd like to know why. Like, how much punishment is enough? How much does he have to, you know, like, could he just like, you know, file bankruptcy and have it be done and over with? Like, again, it's just odd for one person to get all that heat and then other media outlets, big corporate media outlets, not get any flack or not have any repercussions. And I'm the type of person that says, hey, like, let's all, you know, try to, I don't like holding on to stuff. I'm more of a let the water, if it's been under the bridge, not as much, because like, we can always go back and dig stuff up. And sometimes it is interesting to dig things up, just point them out here and there. But overall, at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm saying, and it's all very confusing to me, to be honest with you. And that ends today's episode. Next time, tune in on Wednesday and find out something about another thing and have a couple of laughs here and there too. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram, follow me there, subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri. Let's get, and the UFCs are going to be on tomorrow too, so it's going to be fucking litty, full of fists flying. Until next time, take care of yourselves, be good out there to yourselves, and I'll try my very best to do the same. Peace out, get out of here, go.